Hi there, welcome to Tarot Land Soap Opera. I'm going to do a reading for Pisces energy. And like usual, we're going to do two rows. The top row is going to be high vibe Pisces energy, kind of when we have hope and faith and belief in our dreams. And the bottom row is going to be a more worldly, shadowy energy. It could be a battle within people where they're kind of struggling. Do I move forward? Do I have hope and faith and belief in my dreams? And we all kind of like to stay in our comfort zone. So we're going to kind of read it from that perspective, but since it's not a personal reading, there's some people in the world that are definitely moving forward in life differently. We move forward in life differently when we've learned some lessons in life. We've kind of grown and matured ourselves. We've healed from some of our past pain and heartbreak and self limiting beliefs. And sometimes we've done that. And then there's other people that we would refer to as being in a more worldly, shadowy energy just because they haven't learned those lessons yet in life. So they're not able to move forward in that way. And maybe they haven't healed. Maybe they haven't grown and matured themselves. So we're going to look at it from that perspective too. Pisces energy. Also, you don't have to be a Pisces sun sign. This might more affect this energy and choice for people who are a Pisces sun sign or have a lot of Pisces in their astrological chart. But we all tap into Pisces energy, and we all have the free will choice to harness high vibe Pisces energy, which is like tapping into your more emotionally creative, inspired nature, listening to your intuition to guide you. And everybody has free will choice, regardless of what zodiac sign they are, to harness a more worldly or shadowy Pisces energy, which can be being caught up in the illusion of the world, caught up in the illusion of themself, you know? And, everybody has their own ideas of what, like, the dream life would be. And for some people, it's for them to be bossy and controlling and manipulative and prideful and egotistical. And, everybody can have their own ideas of what the ideal relationship would be like. And we just need to be willing to see the truth when we get to know people that your idea of the dream life is different than my idea of the dream life. Because the truth sets us free to move forward in life differently. But Pisces energy, we have the free will to be in denial and live in illusion. So listen to your intuition about where you're at in the story. Listen to your intuition about other people in your life, and we'll go from there. I need one more card out here for the bottom row. Okay. Okay, the reason for the top rose reading isn't showing itself. So that can mean, on one hand, high vibe people have cut out this energy and aligning with it in a shadowy way. And what people might not know about them is they harness this energy in a high vibe way. Imprisonment. High vibe people might not know it, because we all have free will. We can operate from our more egotistical nature or fear nature or pride and ego or more immature, indulgent nature. And some people might think, because the only two cards that are showing themselves is the house and the official person, there might be some people in the world that think they can present themselves to some of the high vibe people, thinking that those people are going to take action towards them, operating from their ego. Yes, I'm immature. Yes, I'm prideful. Yes, I'm egotistical. Yes, I'm codependent. I'm insecure. I'm immature and lustful and greedy or whatever. Some people don't realize that some of the high vibe people, they're not imprisoned by their ego nature anymore. But we tend to view other people as being like ourselves. So some of the high vibe people might have some people, and this depicts a male energy, but we all take action in the world in masculine energy because we can all present ourselves any way we want to, and people don't know the truth of who we are emotionally, internally, and that can be represented by the feminine figures in tarot. So there's some people are operating from their ego, and they think if they wear like their false mask and their false persona of who they are, that you'd be willing to maybe get in a relationship with them. And they're not aware that you're not imprisoned by your ego anymore. And then you might have some other people, whether they're male or female, who authentically are who they present themselves to be. They are someone who, the way they present themselves is a true reflection of the person that they are. If they present themselves as a loving, nurturing, stable, grounded, self-aware person, they are. The other people are just trying to present themselves as being like that. And some of the people who could present themselves to you, it's because they are aware, they're listening to their intuition, and they know you're not imprisoned anymore, and that's why they want to be in a relationship with you. Because you've grown and matured yourself, you're not taking impulsive, reckless, fearful, insecure, codependent action in your life, and you're the type of person they want to be in a relationship with. Because they've probably went through this process too to free themselves. Our shadow nature, high vibe energy is represented by God, and we have the free will to align with hope and faith and belief in our dreams, to love ourselves, to offer ourselves compassion and forgiveness for the mistakes we've made, because life is all about learning these lessons, like little children learning to walk. And, just like when we were little children and we had to learn to walk, we're kind of like little children throughout our life, learning how to walk this game of life, And some people have, and then our shadow nature is kind of represented by the devil, our more worldly, beastly nature, our self-centered nature, our prideful nature, our egotistical nature. Everything should be about me. People should indulge me. Everybody should orient around me. And it's lazy, and then just like our regular human being things that we struggle with, of kind of having our fears and our insecurities in life, right? And high vibe energy is about doing this work within your own foundation to kind of like love yourself and believe in yourself. Shadow energy is about being kind of in our codependent energy. Well, when we were children, we were codependent on other people to be loving and encouraging and all that stuff to us. But there's a time where we need to put aside our more childish ways of being and realize we need to be our own best mother, father, coach voice in our own head. And we choose to align with loving energy within ourselves. We don't control anyone else in the world, and we shouldn't try to. But within our own foundation, we should treat ourselves with love and compassion and forgiveness and encouragement so that we can, keep putting work and effort into bringing our dreams into reality, where we don't give up on our dreams, where we are willing to admit when we have lessons to learn and when we need to detach from some more old ways of being or more immature ways of being to grow ourselves to our full potential. And when other people have done that in their life, they're looking for other people who have done that in their life. And some of you, as you did this work within yourself moving forward, there could have been some people in your life. I kind of look at the house card as kind of like the Four of Wands. People in your life that previously, maybe when you were more imprisoned by some of your fears or insecurities or had some growing up or maturing to do, you could have pushed those people away or rejected them, maybe didn't get in a relationship with them, or if you had been in a relationship with them, you could have gotten out of it. And then as you move and you grow and you mature yourself, it's like, wait a minute, maybe before I take action to move forward in life and see who else, I might meet in my life, maybe I should communicate with someone from my past. For some of you, it could be an Aries, or it could be someone who maybe in your past was someone who you view as being as in high vibe energy, loving, just, fair, balanced, stable, grounded, that you previously could have, not invested in. And you could be presenting yourself to them, and some of you could have already done that, excuse me, and basically telling them these life lessons that you've learned and how you have learned to free yourself from some things that previously had a hold on you. Because with our shadow nature being represented by the devil, when we hadn't learned to love and believe in ourselves, we kind of gotta, we kind of drive our life off into the ditch a little bit. And the devil comes into our life to try to teach us lessons. Are you really sure you want to live over here? Because this is a little bit of hell. Are you sure you don't want to go back over there? And if we learn the lessons and we get out of our fear and our insecurity and our pride and our ego and are willing to admit maybe, because in our ego, we always think we're right. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I had some lessons to learn. And we get back more in balance within ourselves and to love ourselves and believe in ourselves. And so some of you could be communicating with people in your life, and you could also be communicating to people in your family, in your community. It can even represent probably the world, trying to encourage other people, because that's what people in high vibe energy do. They encourage other people to love and believe in themselves, to face their fears and their insecurities, to be authentically themselves. Don't worry about people judging you, because that's part of the illusion. People are going to judge you no matter what. And they're going to judge you based on whatever they're aligned with within themselves. If they're loving, encouraging, compassionate, forgiving people, they love it when people move forward in their life and they grow and mature themselves. And if they're kind of not doing that themselves and they're kind of more shadowy and they're kind of competitive or prideful or egotistical or envious or jealous, they're not going to like people no matter what they do. Because it's always kind of about them, So I think high vibe people are encouraging other people to move forward in their life. And some people could be communicating to a family or a foundation or a workplace or people they're in a relationship with that I'm not going to stay imprisoned here. Basically, if everyone doesn't step up and get more just and fair and balanced and encouraging and supportive, I'm leaving this workplace. I'm leaving this family. I'm leaving this relationship. I'm leaving this friendship group or organization. I'm no longer imprisoned by whatever could have made me stay longer than I should have in this situation, And basically, if the other people turn their back and say, no, you can go be free if you want, we're going to keep living life the way we've lived it, well, then people got their answer. The shadowy way of reading the official person is somebody who could be operating more from their ego and thinks, I'm the boss. And some people could be loving people. They have hope and faith and belief in love. And some of those people are in some type of life situation where there is someone who might be operating a little more from ego, who is kind of trying to stop them from freeing themselves and hiding the fact that I want you to stay imprisoned in this relationship with me or this workplace or whatever. And some of the people that are in that situation, we have two other cards here, not showing themselves. The courthouse and the family room. The courthouse can mean that people are debating within themselves. Why do I stay in this situation? Should I leave this situation? What do I think life would be like if I did leave it? Am I bold and brave enough to leave it? And really taking a look at how they feel internally, because the family room can be kind of the true nature of ourselves behind closed doors that other people don't have access to. And some of the people that are kind of in some situations where they feel like someone is kind of being bossy and controlling of them, they're doing this work within them since they're not showing it to us. they're kind of doing it behind the scenes, that they are kind of debating the pros and cons and trying to figure out, why do I stay here? Why don't I leave? What if I did leave? And, it's all the mental debate within someone. And the whole thing is, we can get in relationships with people, and what we kind of align with, because if you're going to go to court, and kind of like within ourselves, we have like our 12 zodiac sign characteristics, and you'll see in tarot that sevens are a big number in tarot, because it's a real transition point, and the fives are a real conflict point. How am I going to move forward? Am I going to move forward this way or this way? And if we get to 7, because 7 out of 12 would be majority rules, because 6 out of 6 would be like, we could be just staying in equilibrium. But if we tip into 7, then we have a majority rules. So within every person, they have kind of their more ways of thinking that they're more tilted and in favor of. And even if both people are loving, hopeful, believing people, one person could be a little more tilted into, I kind of like to be the boss. I kind of like it more my way. And the other person could be someone who tries to motivate and inspire everybody to maybe love and believe in themselves. They also could be, it can be vice versa, whichever one. Who's really acting with character and integrity, and more from a balanced position of being more just and fair and loving and encouraging. And who could be hiding that they want to maybe stay in the relationship, but they kind of want it more their way. And that isn't maybe really working cooperatively together. And then one of the people or some of the people in it could be shadowy. We can be in high vibe energy, but we're dealing with other people, and that's why they're up here in the row, and we have to talk about it, because we deal with other people who can be pretty loving and nurturing, but they kind of got a little bit of a tilt into their more shadowy nature. And then we can deal with people who are outright shadowy, and we're not seeing the truth of it. And are we willing to stand up for ourselves and say, I've been hiding that I feel imprisoned in this situation. I don't feel like I'm free to be myself. And high vibe energy is about being free to be yourself. And if you're in high vibe energy, you're being free to be yourself is that I treat you with love and respect, and I let you be independent and who you are and what you want to do, to a degree of a loving, cooperative relationship, whether it's adult children or siblings or parents or romantic relationships or work relationships. Why do I kind of feel like I am not given that same respect? And I feel like I have to keep my true authentic nature and the things that maybe motivate and inspire me, or just things that I find inspire me and that I enjoy doing. And it isn't anything hurtful to anyone else. But sometimes we can get in relationships where people just kind of feel like, if they think that's not what you should do, whatever that could be, we could, I guess if it resonates with you, you'd know what that could be. But it's like, I don't need a parent. I don't need a boss in my life. I'm the boss of my own life. And I feel like I'm being limited and restricted. And it can be that it feels like, and it could, if people have someone like that in their life, I mean, it's kind of different if it's a job, because then, still, some people could be getting out of that job if they feel like the people they're working with are too oppressive and too controlling of their time or their creativity, and maybe don't let them be as creative as they would like to be and pursue certain things creatively at work that they'd like to pursue. But if it's a relationship, it could feel like I just don't know. Life-giving energy is about listening to your intuition and going with the flow. And going with the flow is that we face our fears and our insecurities and our self-limiting beliefs to keep moving forward in life. And sometimes we can be in relationships with people where they like being in the relationship with us, but they want it to stay right here because that's where they're happy. Because in order for them to move forward with us, they could be hiding that they have these things in their own mind, their fear, their insecurity of stepping forward in life differently, going into unknown territory, listening more to love and intuition to guide them instead of their mind and their ego or something. And some people could feel like, I feel these people could be loving and nurturing and supportive. They just have a fear of going with the flow and just having some hope and faith and belief and love, and they could just be a little too controlling for some people. And so some people have been doing this work behind the scenes within themselves to believe in themselves and to maybe stand up for themselves, because the masculine energies talk about taking action, whether you're male or female. And there could be some people that are in perfectly wonderfully loving relationships and they're not imprisoned and they are able to be officially themselves in the relationship, and they choose to focus on the job or relationships and friendships they're in and don't have any interest in pursuing anything else. And just like there's some people that are in those type of relationships, there might be some people who want to get in a relationship with some of you because they view you as someone that they would like to have that type of relationship with, where I'm not interested in freeing myself from this, and I've done this work within myself to be bold and brave and authentically myself, and I want to be in a relationship with you, and I don't think I would feel imprisoned in this relationship. And of course, hopefully with that means that people grow and mature themselves over time. So, what's the reason for the bottom row? It's the despair card, which is kind of the Five of Cups, which is probably having some past pain and heartbreak about relationships that didn't work out the way we wanted, where people could have been hurtful or unkind or unjust or unfair or unloving or rejecting of us. And, for some people that could be standing up for themselves, there is a part of them that would be sad about leaving this relationship. When we get in workplaces, relationships, friendships, we'd really like those things to work out. We'd like people to work together with us. But if other people aren't willing to work cooperatively with us emotionally, in our worldly nature and our ego nature, because the masculine energies can represent, as a human being, and in our more worldly egoic nature, we're sad. And to stand up for ourselves and free ourselves from, even if we are kind of a little bit of oppressive situations, there's a part of us that doesn't want to leave. And there can be a part of us that wants to put an end in the coffin card to exchanging this situation for standing up and believing in ourselves and kind of taking action in our life. Kind of not. I look at the main male versus the official person. You could look at it vice versa, but we could stay in things where we're kind of a little bit in our ego about it. And, there could be a lot of, this card reminds me of the Six of Pentacles, which is Taurus energy, which has to do with all these things of the world, work, relationships, business, organizations, status, materialism, ego, image, power, influence. There's kind of a part of us that would like to just put an end to exchanging what we've been doing for something new and just stay in it. But is it aligned with our truth? Are we going to stay in something where we feel like we're missing out on an opportunity in love, or to be with people we find loving, or to do the type of job or whatever that we really enjoy and love? Are we going to stay in jobs and relationships that we don't like, that are dead? Nothing new to learn there, where people could be kind of emotionally shallow and superficial. People could be intimidating and controlling. People could act like a private detective in a relationship. People can just be, haven't dealt with their own issues. And so then they act in these unloving, unjust, unfair ways of being. Because in shadow, the coffin death card is like the opposite of like life-giving energy. But if we stay in that job or that friendship or that relationship, then they'll be, if it's a job, they'll be paying us money. How long can we stay in a job that we don't like? I know after I got out of college and I got a job, I did not like it. And, staying in a job you don't like, it can really wear, it's just kind of like you go into a depressive funk, and eventually, I went and got a different job that really was what I did want to do. And it didn't matter that I took a pay cut. I was so happy and willing to work late and stay after hours to do stuff because I just loved the job, where the other one was like every hour was drudgery. How much money can people pay you to be unhappy? And the same thing can happen when you get in relationships with people, and we could love them and we could be taking action trying to get them to heal and put an end to their past pain and heartbreak and their self-limiting beliefs, to do kind of equal give and take with us in a relationship, but they're not doing that. And it could be kind of realizing that, it's to get out of our ego about it. Everybody has their free will of what they want to deal with, what they don't want to deal with, what they want to try to put work and effort into overcoming, and what they don't want to put work into overcoming. And sometimes some people are happy. They'd rather deal with their sadness than to deal with figuring out why they're sad. Did they do some things in their past they're not proud of? Well, that's when we offer ourselves love and compassion and forgiveness. We've all got lessons to learn. We all make mistakes. Was there people in their life who were unloving to them and unjust and unfair? Well, are we willing to see the truth of it? Some people are sad, but they don't want to delve into the truth of why, because they don't want to see the truth of some people in their life that they have love for. And that they're maybe not willing to detach from, to become more independent of. Our shadow nature can be our more codependent nature. But I look to these people to invest in me and maybe help me feel more stable and grounded, and if I were to tell my truth, how I'm sad about some things that happened in the past or whatever, maybe they would stop investing in me, and I don't feel I have enough within myself to feel stable and grounded within myself. Some people might have experienced a loss in their family, and some of those people could have been people they were very close to, and instead of dealing with it, they could have decided, and sometimes, if we really love some people and it's, very hard to deal with, and the deep emotions that we have, and, again, I look at this despair card as Five of Cups, and Five of Cups is Scorpio energy, emotional water sign energy, and it talks about those deep emotional connections that we have with people, and it can be very hard to get over the loss we feel in our life when, even if it's a relationship that broke up, and you wake up in the morning and you feel good, and then it's like, this is weird. For some reason, this seems weird. Why is this? And it's like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm not in a relationship with that person anymore. And there's just like this big hole going through the center of your body reappears. It's like, do you see the hole going through my stomach, through my back? And like, I got this big empty hole there, And, it's hard to navigate through that. And so some people who could have experienced either just pain and heartbreak or a big emotional loss in their life in that way, they could have decided, I just don't want to do love anymore, because when I do love, this is a potential outcome and I don't want to feel this way again. And so then they decide that instead of High Vibe Scorpio is about working through the grief and the loss and the pain and the heartbreak. And we do this work within ourselves to get balance within ourselves, offer ourselves love and compassion and forgiveness and encouragement to kind of get back to where we're back up on our feet again and feeling balanced within ourselves. And then let's look at this card that's not showing itself, the Message. Well, I kind of look at this card because of the depiction of it. This hand here is kind of like us in our human nature. It can be so hard for us to overcome these pains and heartbreaks in our life. And it's kind of like this is the abundant hand of life-giving energy represented by God. And it's kind of giving someone an Ace of Pentacles. And when you see one person in tarot holding one pentacle, it can mean about having hope and faith and belief in your dreams. And that if you do this work to heal from this past pain and heartbreak, you will have learned a valuable gift, a valuable lesson, and a resource to know that you can pick yourself back up again and continue to have hope and faith and belief in yourself and your dreams. And you can take that lesson you've learned to add it to your foundation, and you're more stable and grounded than you were before because you were able to do this. And, maybe from a higher perspective, if you were to ever Google NDE in YouTube for near-death experience, you could watch all these videos and all these different channels of people who've had near-death experiences. And they say, we kind of pick and choose what kind of struggles we want to go through in life, because maybe before we come down here, and we come down here to play the game of life, when it's like, are you sure you want to go down there? It's really hard because you don't know what everybody thinks, and you don't know what everybody feels, and people can be deceptive and manipulative and prideful and egotistical and hurtful and unkind and unloving. And then there's other people who are loving and nurturing and supportive, but you're going to battle within yourself about which one you're going to align with within yourself. And it's really hard, and you got to learn all these lessons. And the whole point is, are you going to realize that the answer was love? That being in the fear or the insecurity or the pain or the heartbreak or the self-pity or the whatever isn't going to get you what you want, that love was always the answer. And some people gave up on believing in their dreams, and they exchanged, because some loving situations didn't work out for them, it's like, that's it, I'm done. And actually, the Death card and the Five of Cups is Scorpio energy. High vibe Scorpio is willing to explore the highs and lows of life. Bring it on, God. I want to go on the roller coaster of life. I know everything. What goes up must come down. That there's going to be good days, bad days. Everything I go invest in isn't going to work out. But I know that everything I do invest in, I have an opportunity to learn valuable lessons. I have an opportunity to get really clear about what my truth is versus what other people's truth is. What drives and motivates me and what drives and motivates other people. How my dreams and what I'm motivated and inspired by are different than what other people's dreams are and what they're motivated and inspired by. And if we're willing to learn that lesson, to pick ourselves back up. And some people right now, they could have people, because we live in a world of duality. We have our dualistic nature. There's people in our life that kind of like us to be in our pride and ego and our fear and our insecurity and our pain and our heartbreak, because then we'll keep maybe being in relationship with them because that might be how they live their life. And then we probably have people in the world, and if not people, the creative, artistic things that make people create things in the world, like music and books and art, are things that are people who are tapped into their creative, inspired nature. And even books and music and movies can inspire us to love and believe in ourselves, if not having actual people in our life who are loving and encouraging us. But there could be some people right now that are really working through not communicating with some people in their life who might have communicated with them that, I've done this work within myself. I'm holding myself accountable for my actions. I'm holding other people accountable for their actions. In high vibe energy, if people aren't inspired to be authentic, get out of being imprisoned by their fear and their insecurity and their pride and their ego and their past pain and heartbreak, to be in a relationship with me, we can only kind of sit in like stagnant energy, not moving for so long. And then it's time to go. And the people who didn't free themselves to move forward with us might have to, repeat another round of life to see if they want to really keep living their life that way, But some high vibe people is kind of about, I'm ready to move forward in life differently. Do you want to come with? And so some people maybe aren't communicating right now because they're going through this process of working through some of their fears and insecurities and just how they could have disappointed themselves, as we do sometimes when we kind of run our life off into the ditch and we have lessons to learn. And being defensive, some people could have given up on believing in their dreams and kind of growing and maturing themselves and becoming all they could be. And some people could have chosen to live a more emotionally shallow, superficial life, which can be more about indulging ourselves, because in our more worldly nature is our more codependent nature. And instead of being inspired to stand up for ourselves and learn to love and believe in ourselves, in our more codependent energy, it's like, I think I'm going to go indulge in all these things of the world. I'm sure that'll make me happy. I don't have to learn to love myself. And it's just part of the learning process. We didn't even realize that we had to do that, And you mean I do have to heal from past pain and heartbreak? I thought I could just ignore it. And we do try that for a long time, and we get in these relationships because we haven't learned to love and believe in ourselves, or didn't even know we were supposed to, just thought, don't I just go indulge in the things of the world? Don't I get in relationships and doesn't it all somehow miraculously all work out? And then those relationships don't work out the way we think. And it's all to try to get us to realize, to be enlightened to the truth. Because that's what the pentacle can mean too in high vibe. That we went within to figure out, why isn't this working? I keep doing these things and I keep thinking they're going to work out the way I want. Why aren't they working? Are we willing to go within to gain insight and wisdom about why those things maybe didn't work out? How did we contribute to them not working out? How did the people we chose to get in relationship with, what kind of traits and characteristics and personality and whatever ways of being did they have? And then when we do that work to see the truth, it's kind of like saying, oh, if I keep taking action out of pain and heartbreak because some relationships didn't work out or I disappointed myself, and I keep taking action from that energy, odds are it's not going to work out the way we thought. That we need to stop taking action from that foundation and let go of that way of operating in the world. Put an end to exchanging resources with our more pessimistic, self-belittling, self-berating, fearful, insecure nature. It's like, every time I try to operate with you, it never goes the way I want. So it like telling our shadow nature, I'm done exchanging time, energy, effort, emotions, and thoughts with you. Because all you do is bring sadness and despair into my life. I'm going to start loving and believing in myself and taking some action to stand up for myself and deal with this past pain and heartbreak so it doesn't keep having a hold on me. I want to be free of it. And some people are doing that work within themselves right now. And some of those people, underneath that, we have the Thief card. Our own shadow nature steals from us. And when we have some lessons to learn and we take action, because we got some lessons to learn, so we take some action out of pride or ego or fear or insecurity or lust or greed, and I think I can do whatever the hell I want and I'm sure it'll all work out fine. The devil lies. And the Thief card's like the devil card. We can be tempted by things. Why are we tempted by things? It can be because we have some growing up and maturing to do. It can be because we can be tempted because we're in grief and sorrow. We can go get in relationships with people who kind of remind us of other people that we miss having in our life. We can have unresolved pain and heartbreak that we haven't dealt with, and until we deal with it, and we could think in our pride and ego, nope, I can just put that behind me and I'll just present myself like I'm fine. The whole thing is, if that hasn't been dealt with, it's like closing up a box and putting it in the back of our brain, and it's giving off energetic signal all the time. And it affects how we operate in our life and in our relationships because it's not healed. And it kind of reminds me of that Bible verse, the devil prowls around like a lion waiting to see who it can devour. We can put on as brave of a front as we want, but our own shadow nature, which basically the devil you could look at, is here to try to get us on the right path. This hurts. This is painful. You should go over there. Why do you keep staying over here? But if we haven't learned the lesson and we keep trying to ignore it in our pride and ego, our own shadow nature knows we haven't dealt with it. And our own shadow nature, which kind of wants to be in the driver's seat of our life, will use that pain and heartbreak to get us caught up in our fear and our insecurity, to kick our more bold, brave, confident nature into the back seat of our life, and our shadow nature is running our life, or our ego, or our fear, or our insecurity, and it robs us of our life from the people that we could work together with cooperatively if we had healed. But it's like we can't go work with those people if we haven't healed, because we're going to be the exact same person in the next relationship that we were in the last one if we haven't healed. And eventually, those people in the adjudication card are going to hold us accountable for our actions because we're hiding something behind the scenes. And they listen to their intuition. It's like, what's going on here? You seem to act like there's nothing wrong, but there definitely seems to be something wrong, because instead of moving forward with us cooperatively and, making the decision in truth and justice and fairness and love, you seem to go back to, I don't know, being in your sadness, being in your fear, doing things that are hurtful because of maybe these fears and insecurities about choosing love. And because some people have been hurt, they just don't trust other people anymore. And they could think, I have a bright idea. That's us in our pride and ego. I'm not going to do love. Oh my God, this is perfect. I'm just not going to do love. There, I won't be hurt again. I know I'm going to start operating from my pride and ego. And I want, of course, be in relationships, but I'm going to present myself like I have no pain and heartbreak. I have no unresolved issues to heal from. I'm not going to communicate any of them to you. I'm just going to get in a relationship with you and present myself as this person. like this is the truth of who I am. But people can present themselves any way they want, and the truth could be that they do have all these unresolved issues, and then they get in relationships with people, and it's like, this is good, let's stay here. Don't you heal from any past pain and heartbreak. Don't you listen to your intuition. Don't you become more bold and brave and confident that you want to move to the next phase of life, because I might have presented myself as someone who's able to move forward in life, but I really can't, because I'm kind of wearing a false mask. And sometimes you can get in relationships with people, and for a long time you don't know that, because you have your own healing to do, and you have your own self-limiting beliefs, and you have your own fears and insecurities. But when you get to be where you are ready to stand in your truth a little bit more than you were before, and be a little bit more bold and brave and authentically yourself in the world, and have shed some of the baggage and some of the fears and insecurities you've been dragging around, well, that's when their more controlling nature can come out, and you kind of see their more shadowy nature, because they see that you did put an end and healed from some of your past pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs, and you've exchanged that foundation for standing up for yourself now, and standing up to your own shadowy nature that was blocking you from being able to work more cooperatively with people in the world from a place of love. Because, maybe your past pain and heartbreak was kind of tipping you out of balance a little bit, where it was hard for you to maybe do kind of some equal give and take with people who could have been more balanced than you, who could have been more free than you, free from some of those issues or whatever. And then when you start to do that work, that's when their shadowy nature can come out, because they could want to stay in the relationship, but now you kind of feel imprisoned. And it's all a very, sad situation. And I'm sure the people who were in friendships and relationships with people, did try to encourage the people they were in relationship with to love and believe in themselves. But everybody has free will. And if the other people are like, I'm not willing to put in the work and effort it takes to get myself more balanced in an energy of love, and it takes a lot of work and effort. That isn't something that happens overnight. It's a lifelong process of trying to learn to offer ourselves compassion and forgiveness, and even realize that we need to, that we're the manager of our life and we're our only client. And we should. It's just and fair for us to be loving and encouraging to ourselves and to be loving and encouraging to others. But to stay in a relationship with people who want us and are happy and okay if we're sad in the relationship, even if they have become emotionally shallow and superficial and are more operating from their more prideful, egotistical nature, which maybe initially they weren't, but when they kind of get triggered in their fear or their insecurity or whatever, that's when it is kind of a very selfish energy where it is more about them than the two of you. And because of their own fears and insecurities and codependent nature and things that they don't want to put work and effort into, it becomes kind of very selfish where I don't care if you're sad. I don't want to deal with my issues, so I want to steal from you. I want you to give up your dreams of a just and fair relationship and stay in this relationship and keep exchanging time, energy, effort, and resources. And oh, by the way, yeah, I like it that you're maybe not in shadowy energy anymore, or staying at least the way you were, where you're being like loving and nurturing and supportive, because I'm sad and I want to be in this unbalanced relationship where you give to me and I take. And it's like stealing from you. And some of the people who were in a relationship like that, though they were sad, they weren't going to let shadowy energy within themselves and then other people in their life steal from them. I deserve to be in a relationship based on love. And, you know, some people can be mad because maybe when you got in a relationship with someone, you weren't very hopeful or believing or loving of yourself. And it's like, well, I would think everybody would want to get out of some pain and heartbreak and fear and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs, but that can be the difference. You can get in relationships with people. You can be kind of in the same place, have some similar pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs, but one person is motivated and inspired by love and to heal, and the other person was okay. It's more like, let's just get in a relationship so it looks like everything's great. And I have someone to be in a relationship with. I'm good. It's like, so you were never planning to work through your stuff? No. Oh, well, that's a problem. Because, you know, I knew I was tormented. And I have been putting in this work and effort to love and believe in myself and heal. I've changed. And I'm ready to go on the journey of life and go to the next phase and give birth to something new. Because whatever level of life we're on, if you kind of looked at life as a video game and you have to overcome all these different obstacles like you did when you're a little child learning to walk, and little children never give up. No matter how many times they run into the wall and hit their head on the end table, they are getting their ass back up and they're going at it again tomorrow to learn how to walk. And same when we were little, learning how to ride bike or run or skip or jump. None of us gave up because we had that youthful, hopeful, believing nature. Somehow when we get adults, we kind of decide, no, I'm just going to sit here. And of course, well, not for everybody, but, you know, a lot of people, hopefully, you know, it's not till they get older and have some maybe hurtful relationships that they've kind of experienced that kind of pain. But some people experienced it when they were children. But even as children, we're very resilient. But the whole thing is, if we've kind of mastered a certain skill set in life, we're ready to go to the next phase. Could you imagine having a child and they learned how to walk? And then a parent is telling them, no, you can't. No, honey, you can't ever run. You could fall and hurt yourself. No, we don't do running. That's too dangerous. It's kind of almost, you know, what we can do as adults. No, that other thing didn't work out. No, we're not going to move forward anymore. Let's just live life like this, and let's just keep doing this over and over. And for other people to be in a relationship with people who never want to learn to run and skip and jump and play, and they're perfectly capable, but because it didn't work out in the past, they've kind of given up on their dreams. You know, they're kind of letting their fear or their insecurity or whatever kind of rob them. And then they're looking for someone to come into their life who maybe they can manipulate into thinking they're more hopeful and believing and healed than they are. And once they get them in the relationship or the marriage or get you to take the job, then over time you might see what's kind of hidden beneath the surface. And, you know, it can feel like there's been an injustice. I thought we both, you probably, most likely when people get in a relationship, people know that the other person most likely probably wants to bring a dream into reality based on love and justice and fairness and character and integrity. And for someone to hide the fact they don't really want to do love, that they're fearful of love, that they're going to operate from their more emotionally defensive nature, and they want to keep moving forward. Shadowy, privileged lady, which again can talk about people's emotions and thoughts. I just kind of figured I could be indulged if I got people in a relationship with me, where they would kind of indulge me and mother me, where I didn't have to grow and mature myself, and I didn't have to heal, and I didn't have to get out of my fears and insecurities or my more immature, lazy, egotistical ways of being. And some people are like, yeah, I'm not staying here. And it's in the energy of love that we wish them peace, but I've kind of learned some lessons I needed to learn from that phase of life. I'm ready to move forward. If you're not, I've been at phases of my life where other people moved on from me because I still had some life lessons to learn, you know? And we all learn our lessons at different times of life, you know, what's right for us. When we're ready to see the truth and deal with the truth, we'll deal with it. So anyway, some high vibe people, some people who are in a mismatched relationship, some of those people are working through this process to see if they're willing to do love and to get out of maybe their more where they indulge someone or someone indulges them, or where they quit making their life more about money and materialism and status and image and make it about love. Okay, tell us what's coming up for the people who harness some high vibe Pisces energy. What's coming up for them that they might not see coming? The Queen of Swords, because of the Nine of Pentacles. For the people who are just getting out of kind of a mismatched relationship or getting out of their own shadow nature, those people have looked at life from a higher perspective. The Queen of Swords, again, talking about our emotional nature and our thoughts, they emotionally looked at life from a higher perspective. To step outside of societal norms to bring needed change to the world and to themselves. Putting life in perspective. My gosh, I'm probably going to live like 80 years. You know, what is my dream? Do I need to be in a relationship right now? Do I need to stay in this job or this relationship? You know, I probably got, you know, depending on how old I am, how many more years of my life to live, you know, probably I could get out of some of my fears and insecurities, chillax, maybe think about enjoying my life for the next 2 years or so to figure out where I'm at and what I like and what I want to invest in, what motivates me, what inspires me. And some people have seen the truth and they've become independent of their fears, their insecurities, their more codependent nature, their more worldly nature. And they could be speaking their emotional truth And they're very stable and grounded within themselves because they've learned these lessons to not be manipulated by the past. They wrapped their brain around it and they dealt with it and they healed and they grew and matured themselves. They learned the lessons they were meant to learn from those life experiences. And they learned to love and believe in themselves. And they're putting in the work and effort to not, we can't be tempted by shadowy people in the world. People are trying to manipulate us, control us, tempt us if we're not imprisoned and aligned with that aspect within ourselves. If we keep focused on the truth, looking at life from the bigger picture, knowing our worth and value, staying stable and grounded, we won't be taking some impulsive, reckless, prideful, egotistical, lustful, greedy action in our life. And partly because we have went through these difficult life experiences and learned these lessons, and we saw how those things kind of got us tangled up in some shit it was hard to get untangled from. And we don't want to go back to getting entangled in things. And the thing is, down here with the Scorpio energy, if we think, oh, what the hell, I can go do this. Well, the whole thing is we're emotionally complex human beings, and we can get entangled in people, and maybe we weren't thinking we were going to get that emotionally entangled, and then we do. And it can take us a long time to get emotionally unentangled. And when we did things that maybe weren't aligned with being loving and respectful to ourselves, why would we have been tempted to do that anyway? Kind of unbeknownst to us, could wear on our self-esteem. And then we don't feel proud of ourselves, and being proud of ourselves is priceless. So what's coming up? And so you also could have some other people who see you as shining brightly in the world and being independent and seeing you not take this impulsive, reckless action in the world. And like I say, you could have different types of people because we live in a world of duality and you have free will. You will be given choice. And if you listen to your intuition and know your worth and value and stay grounded and speak your truth, that might make some of the people who thought, aren't you still imprisoned by your pride and your ego and your fear and insecurity, realize that you're not imprisoned anymore. And they'll maybe like, oh shit, I need to go find someone else to go get in a relationship. It's like, yes, you do need to go find someone else to get in a relationship with. And the people who you speak your truth to and you stand your ground with and listen to your intuition about, and if you see that they have learned lessons in life and look at life from a higher perspective and have hope and faith and belief in their dreams, and they're independent of the past and their past pain and heartbreak and their ego, then those would be people that you could have your dreams come into reality with because they also aren't imprisoned. What's coming up for the people who harness some shadowy or more worldly focused Pisces energy, who have not yet learn maybe some lessons they need to learn to free themselves, who might decide, I can just go get in a relationship with someone. It'll make it look like I've changed, like I've moved forward. And if they're willing to indulge me being the way I am, or if they have things of the world that I want that I'm willing to indulge them for, it'll look like I gave birth to something new. But they're kind of fooling themselves because unless they get in a relationship with someone who's on the same page as them, then they're both kind of motivated and inspired by the same thing, which maybe isn't love and being just and fair or acting with character and integrity in a relationship. They might be more motivated to be in a more emotionally shallow, superficial relationship, to just be in a relationship with someone. It makes them look like they've moved on and giving birth to something new, but they really are repeating an old pattern over again. Nothing new to be learned there. Well, the thing is, they could have learned the lesson probably by now, but they, shadowy energy is wanting to be in denial of the truth, not wanting to see the truth. So, what's coming up for some worldly, shadowy Pisces people that they might not see coming up? And also the high vibe people could view you as someone who really overcame something, because the Queen of Swords can be having felt betrayed by someone, and everybody could know that you could have experienced something that put you and made you go through a shadowy time, like the valley of death in the Bible. You know, you experienced some type of ending, and maybe someone that you had been in a foundation with had turned their back to you, and you had to do this work within yourself to heal and to choose to love yourself. That if people were hurtful and unkind, you didn't let it keep you down. Just like, you know, people can kick us to the curb and throw us under the bus. Are we going to stay there? Some people do. And until they learn that I hold the key, I don't have to have other people acknowledge my worth and value or appreciate me or love me. I don't control other people. And as long as I keep waiting for other people to do that for me, and that could be the lesson for some of the people who aren't picking themselves up, is they keep looking for, like, that the change will come when some loving person comes into their life to be like a mother figure to them. And as long as we keep looking outside of ourselves for the answer, I think we could keep being disappointed, because that might have happened quite a few times in our life, because God could have been hoping that if we got in those relationships, we'd do this work to heal, because that's what we do in loving and supportive, encouraging environments, right? Or what we should do. And some people, though, kind of maybe just indulge themselves in those relationships, like, oh my gosh, now I can rest, and now I'm not so whatever. And they didn't use that opportunity. And if they kept rejecting that opportunity, for some, that opportunity isn't going to come around. And it's to make them see the truth that they need to go on this journey emotionally, to put in this is Libra Taurus energy, to put in the work and effort it takes to get themselves balanced, so they're not codependent on someone else being loving and encouraging and supportive of them to help them get balance, because maybe in the past they didn't do the work to get balance within themselves when they had people like that in their life. And so now it could be that, no, you got to do this. It's kind of like hitting rock bottom. You know, you've got to do this yourself. You have got to do this work within yourself. That it isn't to try to get in a relationship with someone else or get a new job to make it look like you're this new person and that you've changed when you haven't changed. You need to do the work in your own foundation. So what's coming up that they maybe didn't see coming? Well, for one, they maybe didn't see that some other people would, in Taurus energy, put in that work and effort to love themselves, because the 8 of Cups walks away from the 7 of Cups. You have to give yourself a cup of love. When we're talking about cups, because the cups are about love, in order to move forward in life, you have to offer yourself some love and compassion and forgiveness, so that you can get out of your ego and out of your inner conflict and out of maybe your shadowy nature of competitiveness and envy and jealousy and pride and ego and self-pity and blaming everyone else for your problems. It's to get out of illusion and the fear and the insecurity, to love yourself enough to take that creative inspired action to get out of your own inner conflict. And maybe about putting in work and effort to get yourself out of your own ego and inner conflict. You know, if we keep doing things that are hurtful or unkind or unjust or unfair or bossy or controlling or being emotionally shallow and superficial. How about we love ourselves enough, high vibe Leo energy, to be authentically ourselves? How about we love ourselves and we offer love to our foundation and our philosophy of life? Some people thought, I know, I'm going to make my life maybe more about ego and image and money and materialism. That's the solution. That's a way to get out of my emotional confusion. In my pride and ego, I'm going to go look victorious and successful and put in work and effort to have money and stability and security and image and maybe get myself in a relationship to make it look like I've given birth to something new, that I've moved on, I've changed. And they're still in regret because they never dealt with the real issue. It's like looking at all these things in the world. I'm going to put this on it. Food, drugs, alcohol, a new relationship, status, image, money. And it's like trying to hope if they put enough stuff on top of it, it'll go away. And it doesn't go away. Our own inner conflict, our own emotional confusion, our own stubborn, prideful, bossy, controlling nature doesn't go away. What is kind of makes me think of that phrase, putting lipstick on a pig. You can dress it up however way you want it, but if it's no different, it's no different. And the only way to change it is kind of to get out of your illusions. And some people, they're just sad because they had these illusions about what it meant to be in relationships. I don't have to do love. Can't I put in work and effort to have status and image and money and materialism, and I can be emotionally shallow and defensive? But if I present a good image in the world, won't there be people who want to get in a relationship with me? Yeah, some people probably did. And they thought, some people came to work with them. They wanted to do love. They wanted to go on this journey and give birth to something new. And these people didn't. You can all, in the energy of love, you give birth to something new. Otherwise, you're giving birth to the same old thing. Nothing new. And that's when people are like, wait a minute. My dreams aren't going to come into reality, are they? And people move away from them because they see through the illusion and they get out of their ego about the situation. And they move away from these people that might have a more worldly or shadowy philosophy of life. And they want to go get in relationships with people who've kind of grown and matured themselves. It could even be people who have some antiquated philosophy or ideal of what the ideal romantic relationship could be like. And it's out of the 1960s. It's we already did the 1960s. We've learned a lot of life lessons since then. People have kind of, taken the good things of all the different generations, and then they've added their own unique spin to it and how they think they can add and improve upon it. And some people just refuse to budge. And some people are really sad that other people have moved on and they've invested in loving and believing in themselves. And some of those people aren't even viewing these people as an option anymore. From the Seven of Pentacles to the Nine of Pentacles, giving up the Two of Pentacles, kind of going back and forth about someone. Some people aren't even giving these people, they don't even view them as an option to invest in anymore. Something they might not see coming again, the shadowy people that could be in a mismatched relationship or had other people move away from them, some of those people are going to have people move away from them. And they could be surprised that those people were kind of willing to, because Taurus energy of the Seven of Pentacles can mean that it does seem like a very stable, grounded, supportive, relationship or job. And some people never thought people would be willing to turn their back on that because by worldly standards, it's very victorious looking. And some people thought, I can act whatever way I want. I don't think they're going to leave just because of the money and the status or because of their ego and their image. And they could be shocked. Some people are like, nope, I feel imprisoned here. And I feel like you could have gotten me in a relationship. And then because of the status or the image or the ego or whatever, you thought I would never leave. Well, I'm getting out of my ego about it because I have a dream. And apparently my dream isn't going to come into reality here. What could be possible for some people is they could be considering themselves getting out of their ego. Because people can be really resistant to change for a long time. And eventually the rest of the world is moving on. And it's just like, oh, shit. I've been on my whatever, some podium or whatever, proving my point for a long time. And it's leading to nothing but regret. Maybe I should be willing to go with the flow. And maybe I should grow up and mature myself and blah, blah, blah. Let's hope so, right? But there might be someone who could be coming towards them, wanting to get in a relationship with them, and they might kind of be surprised about that. And either it could be another opportunity, because God keeps giving us opportunities after opportunities to learn lessons in life, that this could be another opportunity for them to deal with their issues and heal if they don't want this same thing to repeat. But if they've been given a few opportunities with loving people and they keep not willing to learn the lesson and deal with their issues with loving people, they might have somebody shadowy coming up to bat. And it might be someone who's willing to get in a relationship with them because they like people who are sad and you didn't want to move forward with loving, hopeful, believing people. You're my kind of person. Let's date. Let's get married. I like to work with people like you. Kind of builds me up in my ego. And it looks like I've got someone to invest in. And it makes me look like I've moved on. And if you do have money or status or image or attractive or charming or social clout, I'm into that. It works for me. And the only thing is, if they get in a relationship with someone who's like themselves, it will probably not be what they want either, which initially they could have thought, oh my gosh, this is like a godsend. But if they're in a relationship with someone who's like themselves, now they'll find out what it's like to be in a relationship with someone who's kind of emotionally shallow and superficial and maybe prideful and egotistical and manipulative and more focused on money and status and image and love. And then it's like, this is what you manifested. This is what you thought you wanted. You rejected the loving people because that required you to become more independent. You didn't want to do that. Well, now you got someone who doesn't put in work and effort to grow and mature themselves either. And then, it's really hard to find people who are kind of on the same page as you. It's kind of like, that's kind of a little more immature than I act, or other people I've went out with. Could you kind of knock that off? And the other person be like, what? How dare you? They could get in a relationship with someone too who thinks they're God's gift. They don't have anything to learn. They don't have any old ways of being to shed or mature out of. I think if they don't get out of their more shadowy nature, they're going to keep being disappointed and sad until they're willing to see the truth. Either of the type of people they're drawn and attracted to. Why are they drawn and attracted to people if those people have shadowy traits and characteristics? Are they did they grow up with people who are like that and they're still trying to get people like that to acknowledge their worth and value? Well, how about quit trying to get those people to acknowledge your worth and value? How about you love yourself? But they're going to repeat some old pattern, whatever it is. And some of the people in their life who previously could have been investing in them, whether they're friends or family or children or parents or romantic interests, some of those people are going to detach from them. So there you go, Pisces energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.